Hello, hello, and we are back here live. Can you believe it already? Like towards the middle of December here. Yes, hello, everyone. It is wonderful to see you all today. Now, I know you're expecting Michael Smith, National Education Manager of Janome, Canada. Today, I am Hermie, Santa's little helper here. You might remember from those the Rudolph special, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer special, and Hermie was the dentist who never fit in. Or the little elf who never fit in because he wanted to be a dentist. I've always identified with him. So hello, everyone. Yes, I am Michael Smith, National Education Manager of Janome, Canada, and back here from my palatial estate in Collingwood, Ontario, Canada, where we have lots of snow. And I figure, great, no matter what the weather, let's just stay inside and sew, because don't know about you, I've got a lot of Christmas projects I want to finish, and we can do that so easily on our Janome machines, especially those that are combo machines, sewing and embroidery. So I have here on my very messy table lots to share with you. So let's flip around here. And I'll show you that, yes, once again, don't want to show too much. Once again, we are on the, yes, fabulous Janome Memory Craft 1000. This is a sewing and embroidery combo machine. Doesn't take up much space, not too heavy, so great to take to classes. Great if you're going south for the winter, or wouldn't that make a wonderful present under the tree? So be sure to check with your Janome Canada dealer on all of the promotions we have going on now for the holidays. Now, for all of our machines, you know, this is the instruction manual that I printed out for the MemoryCraft 1000. And on the very back of our manuals, after all the maintenance and all the troubleshooting, we have pages of all of these stitches that are included in the machine for regular sewing, and then we flip around all the fonts, and then we get into all the designs. So there they are, all grouped together. And again, depending on which machine you have all of these designs in various categories here. Lots that we can do, lots alphabets, very beautiful, that we can customize, even some ready-made projects if we're not going to do projects from scratch. So specifically, I'm interested in this everyday and holiday designs category. There's a few designs in here that I thought would be really cute to stitch out for the holidays, or anything simple, like even this is one of our Sew for Home hobby patches from our friends of Sew for Home. These are a free design on janome.ca in the embroidery tab under the Inspire tab of janome.ca, and we can stitch these out in our embroidery machine as a patch. And then now I'm just going to applicate it on to this apron. I used the fonts built into my machine to say Grail Master. And there we go, a simple ready-made apron that we can customize with our embroidery machine. Or how about this? First, this is a design in the 550E. And some of our other machines, CM17 has this. The MemoryCraft 1000 does not, alas. But depending on what your embroidery machine is, maybe you have these sashiko designs. And so what I did is just stitch the design out on the fabric, then cut it up to make this cute little zippy pouch. And here I use some metallic threads on that side. So isn't that cute? All done in the embroidery hoop. So first you embroider your fabric and then you cut it up. This could be a wonderful little gift. Everybody could do storage. Now, again, we can embellish. Now, this was a stocking I made quite a while ago for my partner, Joe, and I stitched it here with this metallic thread to quilt this cuff, and then added some home deck trim. Typically, this is on, draperies or tablecloths. And I could have embroidered Joe right across here, as I did for my hat, my little Santa's hat. But, we could also embroider these designs are built into the MemoryCraft 1000. It's a luggage tag, and in this case, I'm using it as a gift tag. Don't tell him. But here we go. I could easily stitch this on, either by machine through all layers, lift up my cuff like that is probably how I would do it. Oops, so that I wouldn't see it underneath. But I could stitch this, or I could stitch this by hand. So I could do that, no problem. So this stocking I made, but this could be a purchase stocking. And then with this label included in my Memorycraft 1000 here, then I could simply stitch this on. So it's a great way to customize gifts of all kinds. So you can start from scratch, or again, you can purchase something ready-made. Yes, so lots to do. Now, just as a quick aside, with this machine, I love having it at home, and I'm discovering more and more about it all the time. This is the foot control pedal that comes with the Memorycraft 1000. But did you know the big extra large foot control here that comes with a lot of our higher end machines? It's the same plug. It will fit on the Memorycraft 1000. So if you already have this machine, or even like our QDC machines, for example, this is the lesser expensive foot control that comes with the machine, but you can upgrade. This would make a great Christmas present in itself. Ask this for Christmas. That extra large foot control works really, really good. I personally like having that bigger foot pedal because I sew really fast, and then I don't have to search around on my floor looking for it. So to convert this machine, again, sewing and embroidery, so simple. Right now I'm in sewing. I just click this little icon here of the two sewing machines. It's saying the carriage arm is not open, but I can open it, no problem. Here is the screen, then the home screen of my embroidery functions. The wonderful thing about all Janome embroidery machines, the little flower, that's where all the designs are, regardless of what machine it is. The A, all the fonts are in there. And then there is the hoop with the design in the middle and a little pencil. That is always the editing function. So regardless of your machine, it's always these same icons. Very simple and easy to do. At the side of the machine back here is a little lever, and is going to swing out the embroidery carriage that is attached to the machine. On some of our models, the embroidery carriage is a separate unit, but once I release that lever, you see it just boom, swings back, no problem. So very convenient. We don't have a lot of extra pieces. It makes it so simple to switch over. So this is an ideal beginner machine. And if you want to add, again, a little pizzazz to your projects, you can certainly add embroidery. Now, recommended for embroidery is, instead of this zigzag needle plate with that wide opening, we like to use the straight stitch needle plate here, which comes included. There is a center hole there and a hole to the right. And we recommend that straight stitch needle plate so we don't have to worry about the fabric getting mashed down in there. Now, this Memorycraft 1000 is a free arm machine, and the extra needle plates, very conveniently, look at that. It just stores right there when we're not using it. So again, Janome thinks of everything. Now, to convert this needle plate, I've never thought of anything so simple. You take a screwdriver. Our machine comes with the little screwdriver, but I always like the big, longer one. This is the one included with the machine, but I like this longer handled one. It, again, available from your Janome dealer. And there's this little groove right under here that we just pop that up. Isn't that simple? We don't have to worry about pressing a lever anywhere or unscrewing. It's so much easier. This will just snap into place. I no longer need this. So again, it can go in my little storage compartment here in my free arm accessory tray. So simple. Now, also included with our machine, though, are two bobbin holders. This one has a little yellow dot and it says 10 grams in there. This is the regular bobbin holder. This one here with that little white dot says 20 grams. This is a high tension bobbin holder. Regular is 10. This is high tension bobbin holder, 20 grams. So this is our embroidery bobbin holder that we like to use to pull those needle threads to the backside. We don't have to worry about the bobbin threads pulling up to the top. Look at how beautiful all of that is. And again, you'll see, and this one I covered it. I'll show you an example here of where I didn't cover it. There you see all the bobbin threads pulled to the backside. all the needle threads there. So they're in this beautiful embroidery. This is what I'm going to stitch out today. Isn't that gorgeous? Built into the machine, perfect for the holidays. I imagine all of Santa's reindeer looking like this to pull his sleigh. So there you'll see a little bit of the back on the back side there because it's pulling that needle thread to the back side. Now, if you don't want to see all those needle threads, here I just fused some extra fabric onto the back so it makes it a little neater. We don't see any of those threads. But yes, we like this high tension bobbin holder. We just click it in, line up the little white arrow of the bobbin holder with the little arrow here that's built into the housing of the machine, this little metal bit. The little metal finger goes in front of the little resin thumb, as I call it. I call that a little thumb. And so that goes behind this metal finger, and I always like to fold this like this just to rub it around, make sure it's nice and flat. So then I can snap in my straight stitch needle plate. Boom, it works so beautifully. So when whoops, my table is so full. I have so much here to show you. Oh, never enough room. So yes, let me easily get in this bobbin thread. Now, when we're embroidering, we often like using this lighter weight bobbin thread. Typically, we don't see this bobbin thread. So it really doesn't matter what it is, but it's typically a lighter thread. It's usually a 2-ply as opposed to regular embroidery thread is a 3-ply. And where the embroidery bobbin holder thread comes from, the bobbin thread comes from, is their Janome bobbin thread. Now, this little spool, you see I use it all the time, which is empty. This little spool often comes with our Janome embroidery machines, or we can get it in a larger cone like this, and it comes in white or in black. Or what makes it really simple, I love these pre-wound bobbins in white or in black. So wonderful. Again, it's a 60 weight 2-ply thread, so it's great to use as a bobbin thread. And then again, we use regular embroidery thread. Oh, this is our Keyless Iris thread, and of course we have all of our fabulous Janome thread. So if you wonder what all the numbers in your Janome embroidery machines for your designs, they're all made according with Janome thread here. It's a 50 weight thread. They're size 50, and then there's the color number. So all the designs in our embroidery machines coincide with the Janome color palette. Now we can also use, this is again, Keyless Iris thread. Other popular brands are often built into the machine, or you can ultimately use your own. But when we scroll for designs, I'm going to hit my design category here. I can scroll through, and again, everyday and holiday designs, so many for every choice. Oh, if someone's having a baby, or look at this one I thought was very fun, that it's all the fireworks. Now, this was a similar design I did at the early start of this year to celebrate for 2025. I can't believe we're almost at 2026. So yes, I made a little pin cushion out of this. So yes, we could use for upcoming New Year's, or again, let's go to here. There are ones for baby, or we can go here to this one I thought was beautiful for Christmas. So our hoop included with the machine, the largest hoop for the Memorycraft 1000 here is 5.5 by 5.5. It comes included with the machine. There's a acrylic template here that we can help line up our designs. What I love about this embroidery hoop, no more screw to tighten. It's just a lever, very simple and easy. This was taken from our top of the line machines, the Memorycraft 550E and the CM17. Its hoops have that feature, and everybody loved it. So Janome incorporated it into this more entry-level machine. And the embroidery hoop just easily clips on to the embroidery carriage. Done. To save time, I already have my embroidery foot on. Now, stabilizer is very important. So my fabric, I already have this stabilizer, which I have ironed on to the back, pressed it to the back of my fabric. There are many different types. This one is actually a sticky back. So if I can unstick it, there we go. It's a sticky back. You'll see the little shine there, and we just press that on. So that will help stabilize the fabric to support all those dense stitches. Again, this one is an iron-on, and there's a little glue dots on it. Now, tearaway stabilizer is a very popular choice, and sometimes we even layer up various stabilizers. So here I already have my stabilizer on, but sometimes we think, oh, we need a little extra stabilizer. I do this. I slide in another piece of stabilizer, and here it was water soluble. And then what I love to do is use the baste function that is built in to the Janome embroidery machines. So there is my baste function. And what I'm going to do is then hit, oh, it tells me to lower the foot. Don't you love a machine that does some thinking for you? So this basting function is really great because it holds the layers together. Oh, and then sometimes what you need to do, and I should have from the beginning, in order to get it caught. Yes, there we go. It didn't catch right at the very beginning. Sometimes what it is good to do is to raise your needle down and then up to catch that bobbin thread. Initially, it didn't catch as I started, but over here it caught. So in order to help that, you do your needle down and up to pull up your bobbin thread, hold on to both threads, and then it will start right away. In my haste, I didn't do that, but you'll see over there with the basting function, it works really, really good. So let's get out of here. Again, I'm always in such a hurry, but it works so well. So here you will see on my LCD screen, there we go. I have all of my colors listed. And now some of these I decided, oh, I don't really want to use these colors. Instead, I'll just use my own. So, but here it says it's going to be 26 minutes and it's going to be 600 stitches per minute. Now in my settings mode, I could slow down the stitching as well. So we have lots of creative control when we come to do our embroidery. In this case, I'm just going to keep it as is. And away we go. It's so wonderful. Once we get away from this thread, I'm going to take my 4-inch mini duckbill scissors and trim away that thread there, and then let it do its thing. So I always love to stitch out a little test sample. So this is what this is. So first I'm doing all these little curly cues here, the little wispy wind behind this reindeer. Then I'm going to switch colors to do all of this gorgeous antler and the body. And then I'm going to switch back here. In my case, I did it back in black, but you could totally, whatever color you would like your reindeer, whatever accents you would like on the body or the little wind. I could have used, blue for the wind, whatever you would like. I just thought that would show up really pretty on the Christmas fabric. And again, you could choose any fabric that you would like. So there's so many things that we can do with our embroidery machine. Now, I mentioned earlier of the Sew for Home patches. So this was a whole, I think there were 7 collections of this Mindful. I thought was so wonderful, especially for the new year. So we're all starting off fresh and relaxed. The Adventure Patch for the summer of camping. How about this for National Sewing Month? Eat, Sew, Sleep. That's September is National Sewing Month. Or how about for next spring, Happy Gardener. My mother is a fabulous gardener, so I love making this patch for her. And then again, I could put that on the apron that she could wear when she goes out to the garden. Or how about for the mall walkers in the winter? You could make them a patch saying, walk it off. And they walk around the mall very safely in the winter. And you could stitch this on like a backpack that they're going to bring their water bottle or the gym shoes. Or for the summer, again, on the road again, if you're going to go for a road trip, like there is a patch for everything. Now, where we get those very quickly, we go to our Janome.ca site and we can hit the Inspire tab. And there it says embroidery and we click Make It. And then you will see all these beautiful designs. There's our hobby patches there. So we click on whatever the design that we want. It just takes a minute to populate. And then up comes all the instructions and all of the, here's the whole hobby patches. And there are the zip file that you can download. They're already set in Janome embroidery file. So it will stitch out in any Janome machine. We have all the instructions there. They're really, really cute. Now we also have some more embroidery. So scroll through and find lots of embroidery. Now here are these vintage ornaments that, again, our friends from Sew for Home did. Aren't those gorgeous? And the cool thing about these designs, they're on napkins and there's instructions there included to put them on napkins. But these designs, you use them however you wish. They don't have to be in napkins. They could be on anything. So that's the really fun thing, that you just download them to a USB stick and away you go. So now it is time to trim my threads. So I just quickly come up and trim the thread from the top. Now you'll see here, I have the secondary spool pin on. There is a little port on the top of the machine, and this secondary spool pin comes included with the machine. And this is great when we're going to wind a bobbin and we don't want to unthread the needle, or now when I'm changing my thread colors, I already have my next spool of thread back here in the thread holder already ready to go. So I simply raise my foot and then I floss the thread through my machine. I don't pull it up through the machine. I don't pull it back. I pull it down through the tensions, throw that thread away. This way that keeps the tensions nice and clean. We don't want any lint and buildup of thread going back through the machine. So it's important to, I say floss, because Nancy Zeman from Sewing with Nancy, do any of you remember her? She was on PBS for years. I learned so much from her. She said, floss the machine, cut the thread from the top, pull it down through, pull it through the needle, keeps your tensions nice and clean. Now, before I go to use my needle threader, very importantly, I'm going to lock my machine. And then that way I know the machine is in the correct spot to use the needle threader. Sometimes, especially with embroidery, if this embroidery hoop is a little too close to the needle threader, the needle threader won't work. So by locking the machine will tell us, are we safely in the correct location to use this needle threader, or the machine will move so there's more room for the needle threader to come down. So perfect. We just follow the instructions. There, I did it live because I followed the instructions, and mainly I locked the machine and put the presser foot down. I dropped the presser foot. So now away I go. Now this is not going to finish in the time that we have. Whoops, now see, it told me, drop your foot. I love a machine that tells me, because I'm always in such a big hurry. So once again, I get further away, and then this is where, again, I'm going to use my beautiful mini duckbill scissors. These are so cute, so handy. These are perfect for embroidery. With these cantilevered handles, we get right down in the embroidery hoop to trim our threads. So this looks so good. Now this is going to be white on white, which I thought would be a really cool effect. The next one that I do in this, I want to use a silver metallic thread to pick up the silver in these in this fabric. I think would be really, really cute. And with enough buildup, we will be able to see that thread, even though it's quite tonal, but it's still quite beautiful. So again, other designs, again, built into our machine. When I mentioned about these could be luggage tags, or again, how about for your package for Christmas. So here's our little gift box, and we just put a big bow on it, and then we could tape this to the box, tape it to the box. Or here is another one for Kitty. Isn't it so cute? We always get our cat Christmas presents. So Kitty has her own luggage tag, and all I did was stitch out this is an eyelet that is also built into a number of our Janome embroidery machines. It's in the buttonhole category. So you'll find these eyelets that you can stitch out the eyelet. Now in this case, on the right, I stitched it twice. So it's a little more dense. There I stitched it out in white, so you can barely see it. There's black. And then on the right, I stitched it twice, so it's a little more dense. And then we take an awl with a nice sharp point and then just push it in between. And you see, again, I have more of that stabilizer on the back of my fabric. For doing these decorative stitches, we want to use stabilizer as well. And we will use the F foot, which is the satin stitch foot that has the groove on the underside to let all these dent stitches form very easily. So I used the F foot to stitch it in place on the sewing portion of the machine. After all my embroidery was done, after I did Kitty, for example, and I combined the fonts built into my machine with the tag itself, I could put another design in here, whatever name I wanted in here. I could write it instead of embroidering it. So many things I could do. But after I embroidered it, then I switched the machine back to regular sewing so I could do the eyelet and then punch it through to create that hole. And then I created, this is what I demoed last week with the binder foot. Remember that foot? To create this lacing. So it was a 1-inch strip of fabric, and I just used the binder foot. You can go back to last week's episode to review that, to make this lacing, which then I fit through that hole. So now I could tie this again around my package, or again, I'd like a big bow here that I would tie this on. I could even tie this to the tree, and maybe I have a little trinket in here. I thought about this afterward as I was getting ready for this live. Oh, well, maybe I could sew another piece of fabric to this luggage tag or to this gift tag, and I sew a little pocket, and this I could hang this on the tree, but leave the top end open, and oh, I could maybe have the beautiful 4-inch mini duckbill scissors, you know, hanging from the tree. Wouldn't that be cute? Or again, maybe you want to give them the big handled screwdriver, you know, something that you could make that, you know, put in an engagement ring or something like that in there. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? So yes, so many things that you could do. So isn't that cute? So now I've made my own gift tag. Oh, there's another one here that is cute. It looks like a big, again, nice and beautiful with the spring flowers, but I used it, again, could be a gift tag. And then I added, again, the fonts built into the machine from to and from. I could either use the embroidery machine to type in the name, or I could use a permanent pen and I could write it in. So we can totally customize. The name tag comes just as is. And then I added the to and from, so we could add the names. And then, yes, on the back side, since I didn't want to see all that embroidery thread, I backed it with another piece of that same fabric. And I just used the paper-backed fusible web here. I love this. The paper-back fusible web, you first press it down to your fabric. There's the sticky side there. Press it to your fabric. And then you release the paper, and there is the glue that holds it together. So you don't even have to stitch this again. Now I could, for extra stability, go back around and I would just edge stitch around my satin stitching there to really hold these two layers together. I could do that if I was concerned, but if not, that paperback fusible web works just beautifully. So it worked out so well. Oh, and again, another type of stabilizer too. You see how messy my table is. Another form of stabilizer here is this water-soluble stabilizer, which we can also use. Here, when I take my hat off, I had the sticky back stabilizer in the embroidery hoop to hold my hat down. Now, this was a purchased hat that I got from the discount store. So I used the sticky back stabilizer in the embroidery hoop to hold it down because I couldn't hoop my hat. I hooped the stabilizer, and then because of the nap of this, there, it was actually like this. Like there, you see the backside there. So it was like this. And because of the nap of this fabric, I put this water-soluble stabilizer over it so the embroidery would stay supported and lay on top of this napped fabric. This is the same that we would do for terry cloth if we want to monogram towels or a bathrobe. You may even be able to see a little bit of the water-soluble stabilizer there. We just rip it off, and I could immerse this in water. I don't think I ever have because I see a little bit of water-soluble stabilizer there, but most of it just rips right off. If we want to get rid of it, we could just spray it with water or immerse it with water. It'll completely disappear, but this way I can see my fonts. They haven't sunk in there. So there is so much we can do with our Janome embroidery machines. Again, how beautiful. Now this is unbacked, but look how gorgeous that is. You see the paperback stabilizer I have there, the tearaway stabilizer I have there, but look at the back of the embroidery. Isn't that gorgeous? So beautiful. So there is so much that we can do, so much to customize, either brand new items or again, ready-made items that we can personalize. You can totally, the sky's the limit, but so much you can do. These luggage tags in particular, or again, as they've now become these gift tags, are really my favorite. But as we see our beautiful design there taking shape, there's so much we can do. And even though the machine said what threads to use as a guide, we can totally play around and customize however we wish. So that's going to be absolutely gorgeous when it's finished. And not too much longer, but I've already run over my time. So we will just flip around, and I will say to everyone, as I get my hat back in place, yes, there we go. And of course, you know, I had to further customize